I'm sure you can probably relate to a lot of what I'm talking about. I want you to kind of for this podcast, tell our audience that post you made saying, "Dear Instagram, I hate you." And I believe you said you're not abandoning the platform,
Mm-hmm,
but you're
mm-hmm.
shifting. So
Yes.
tell us what this declaration means.
Yeah, I will start to say that it's really funny, but that post went viral, and it's perhaps my most viral post ever. Like,
And
I
that
think
says
it's
a lot about the platform. It
yeah,
really pushes stuff that is for that quick fix. The quick
yeah,
fix,
like it's crazy. Like, I think it's now maybe 600,000. It reached 600,000 people, which again for me it's way above my usual engagement. Funnily also enough, I also got people commenting that post saying, "Nice bait. You did this for the views." I said, "No, I didn't."
Yeah, typical.
That actually started, that post was originally a newsletter. So I have a newsletter where I write really, how can I say, really informally, just sharing my thoughts about photography, about birds, about my life. So that started as a newsletter. So it was in written form. And I shared it first with my newsletter, because newsletter is where I have, the people, let's say the closest members of the community, because then the newsletter is the only place where you really can reach people without an algorithm. Like, people subscribe for your newsletter, and if they don't want to hear from you anymore, they just unsubscribe. It's easy than that. It's easy. So I started with the newsletter because that was kind of for me, the safest space to declare that. But I felt I needed for two reasons. The first reason is really logistical. Like, I wanted to let my community know where to find me. Simple as that. Because, yeah, obviously, also most of my newsletter subscribers come from Instagram anyway. So they've been knowing me for Instagram. So I just wanted to, why I've not been posting that much as before, and what I was planning to do in the future. So that was the first reason. The second reason is that I also really believe in the power of writing and saying things out loud to make them more real, and to bring that power outward, and that intention, if that makes sense. All of those were things that I've been thinking for months, and they were just in my, boiling in my brain. And it took me a long time, again, also in that case, to arrive to that decision. It's not something that, one day I woke up and say, "Oh no, I'm really tired of the algorithm. No one looks at me, my post anymore." So, it wasn't like, I don't know, a childish reaction to it. It took me months to arrive there. I did also some reading. One of the books that really helped me to find clarity about all of this was Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. He's more famous for the book Deep Work,
I've read
which
Deep Work, yeah.
it's partially connected. So I read both, and they're partially connected, but digital
Mm-hmm.
minimalism is really more about understanding, technology, and then especially social media. Like, the book is pretty old. So, in the book, he was mostly talking about Facebook. So I found it also interesting to see, how much further we got into this problem. Like, he
Mm-hmm.
already understood it in the age of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's much worse. It was one of those cases where it's not that you need some kind of revelation, something, brand new. It was just something that I needed to find structure, and I just needed clarity, but I knew it inside of me. I just needed to organize everything. And that the book really helped me in saying, yes, this is exactly what I think. Yes, this is exactly what I fear. So obviously, as a next step, I think, like, I waited for about another month before saying it on Instagram, because also that wasn't easy, honestly. And because part of me was like, it's like you're leaving your community behind. It's like, you put so much effort, like literally thousands of hours of work went to grow my account to that point. And it was like, you know, this is this going into waste? And then also, like, what about the people who are there? Because I also know that, and it's fair, not all people will join me in the other platforms, because some people just use Instagram. Some people don't have time to, I don't know, watch YouTube. Some people don't like reading newsletters. So it felt a bit like, disappointing these people. And I didn't want to. But again, coming back to what we were saying before, what I'm really in a place of my life right now that I know that I need to do the things that are authentic to me. And honestly, using Instagram in the way Instagram would like me to use it right now is not working. And again, I also really understand that are out there, as you mentioned, other people who find their way to stay on the platform, and that's perfectly valid. Personally, I decided that I'm not going to do any more short form videos, even if it means also losing opportunities. Like just recently now, I was in contact with a brand and they wanted short form. I said, I can do other stuff. I can do carousels because I love carousels on Instagram because, I was one of those people who like to make PowerPoint presentations. So carousels are just like that. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, stepping away from short form also means losing on opportunities because that's what's been pushed right now. But again, I don't want to compromise my ethical line and my authenticity for a brand deal, keep my community engaged. No, because that's not engagement anymore. Those short form videos, yeah, I can make good videos in the sense that I know that they have value. They are not trend videos and anything. But what now I'm having issues with is really the format itself and what's doing. So even if I know that my video is not the video that's destroying the brain cells of people, I know that out there, like many of the other videos, are doing that, and I'm not okay with it anymore. Although it's a huge ethical dilemma, honestly, and it's a really complex. I think it's a really complex topic, and I totally understand that everyone that comes to terms to these things in a different way. I can just make a decision for myself. I'll still be on Instagram, sharing stories. I will make the carousels as well. And then for the rest, I basically decided to move to long form content because I just love to talk, as maybe it's also clear from this podcast.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a better space for who I am right now. Although also there are limitations. I also had, under that post, so many people saying, yeah, but also YouTube has an algorithm. And I said, yes, guys, there's nothing is perfect in life. Like I don't think that's the goal is to find the perfect solution. The best that we can do is to find what works better for us right now, knowing that there's always compromise everywhere. Yeah, this is what I'm exploring right now.
You and I are very aligned in how we feel about this. And there's a phrase in there that you said that I really, really want to highlight. You said ethical compromise. You didn't want to, compromise just for, the brand. And I want to clarify for the people listening who you and I is maybe, oh, they're just complaining. They're just complaining because they're not getting the views that they used to. You guys are supposed to adapt. The world's changing. It's like, trust us. We get it. We understand. We're aware. But, and I can speak for Chiara and I'm sure she agrees, is that it's not that we're not getting the views that we used to. It's the ethics of the platform that have changed that kind of have made us want to withdraw because, I mean, we didn't even get into all the stuff about AI and how the algorithm spreads hate, fear, and misinformation.
I agree 100%. Yeah, like this thing of the numbers. I feel that I can say that as someone also who's literally studied the platform and social media, and those numbers mean nothing. They don't have any connection also to, people maybe think, oh no, if you get 1 million views, then you're rich. That's not how, especially Instagram, that's not how Instagram works. And all like those numbers are actually part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I like to define those vanity metrics, like having that number of likes, those number of comments. That's something that just really has the only point of kind of lifting yourself the moment you get them and then crashing yourself the moment you don't get them. And that system is really, 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 really broken. So honestly,
It's
I
not
don't care.
healthy. It's not healthy,
It's
but
not.
I think
No.
it's by design. It's by
Yes,
design to keep you engaged.
it is. Yes, yes.